So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now this video was recorded during the early access for Emerald Coast, so a huge thank you to EW for allowing me to take part in this early access. Now in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Eastern Grey Kangaroo and the Stubble Quail. We're going to be starting off taking a look at the Eastern Grey Kangaroo. Now, these guys are a really awesome species to have in-game. I have had a lot of fun hunting them, and I think that they are a really cool addition to actually have in Call of the Wild. Now, we're going to actually start off by shooting this level 3 female here, and this clip is actually one of my favourites that I managed to get, because it shows off the cool animations that these guys have when they get shot. So you will have seen the stumbling animation there with the initial impact, then the sort of hopping away wounded, and then this incredible stumbling and tipping over animation when it actually goes down. So if you make like a lung shot and they do hop off a bit rather than run off a bit, it's really awesome to see that they actually have their own set of animations for that. I think it looks absolutely incredible. Now here we do just have a little level 3 brown fur type female, and she is absolutely gorgeous. I do like the brown fur type, it looks pretty nice. It's kind of reddish looking and it's very pretty, but the models for these guys are absolutely fantastic. The females are a little bit smaller than the males, but they both look equally fantastic. I think that they have done such a good job with the kangaroo models. They are really a fun species to have in game and really quite easy to hunt. They have a pretty good size home range. Now bear in mind this is a sort of rough map of where I have seen them, but they cover a pretty decent area, and while they do drink at night, I actually haven't bothered to hunt them in their drink zones. They are so easy to actually find just out and about during the day that I haven't actually found it necessary to go and hunt them in their drink time. Now, as you may have heard, these guys do actually go aggressive, and I do have a couple of clips of some males going aggressive. Now, both males and females can go aggressive, and I've had them go aggressive in different circumstances. So sometimes just running around, I've had them go aggressive on me. Sometimes you shoot one out of a group, and then others in that group will go aggressive, but it's not all the time, and they also don't do a whole lot of damage, as you will have actually seen. I don't think that these guys are really much of a threat, but it is quite a cool encounter to have, and if you could get like a diamond or a rare to go aggressive, I think that that would be pretty cool. But you're really not going to have to worry too much about these guys really killing you, because they do so very little damage, and they do a lot of this sort of posturing where they'll sort of hop away and then just stand still, so you're going to have plenty of opportunity to get a pretty decent shot into one if one does decide to go aggressive. And you can see what I mean here, sort of just hopping around, not really doing a whole lot of damage to you, but it is still a pretty cool thing to see, and the animations are pretty cool. Now we have a group of kangaroos moving through here, and you can see we have a mix of males and females. You can see the females just being a little bit smaller than the males, so you can actually tell them apart quite easily. And we have a couple of level 7s, and then we have a mythical. Now these guys do go up to level 9, so a mythical is a pretty good sized kangaroo. And I was just running here to get him to go alert so that I could actually take him with the 22-50, the new rifle that comes with Emerald Coast, that you can either purchase or get via doing the missions. And you can see again the really cool animation there of him actually sort of lifting the one leg up as he hops away wounded, so you'll be able to tell which one you have shot very easily without really even spotting them, just based on the animations. Now unfortunately he just goes over that hill before he goes down, so we don't get to see the really cool animation of it actually going down. But we do have a beautiful grey mythical kangaroo. Now that is a really beautiful looking animal again, and I really can't wait to see what kind of rares these guys have, because I think they could be seriously beautiful. Now I mentioned that these guys max at level 9. Well, one of the first kangaroos I ended up spotting in this game was a 9 legendary. It was right outside an outpost, and I hadn't even bought the new rifle. It was the first outpost I was unlocking, and I literally just looked around the outpost to see if anything was nearby, and there was a 9 legendary. So I had to scramble to get a appropriate rifle and everything ready so that I could actually take this guy down. And we do once again have the 22-250, that's what I'll be using throughout this video. And I was supremely nervous about this. But something that you will notice is making them go alert actually does make them sit up straight so that you can actually get a pretty clear shot at those vitals. Their heart and lungs is really well exposed when they are actually sat up like that. Now, they do tend to drop down quite quickly, so once they are sort of upright, you do actually have to be quite quick with making a shot, because sometimes they will just drop back down very quickly. Now you can see here most of the group start to flee, but I noticed there was one still led on the ground, and this one did actually go aggressive. But this is something I have had a lot with kangaroos, is where it says that they are aggressive and they will start making their way towards you. As you can see, this female is actually on her way over, but then it turns to fleeing and she's actually gonna not come all the way over to us. So you can sometimes just have them go aggressive only for a very short period of time, and again, like I said, then really not that much of a threat. But taking a close-up look at the model here on the ground, and everything about this looks fantastic, from the details in the face and the whiskers, the fur detail, the paws, the claws. Everything looks really, really fantastic. I think that they've done a very good job with these. And while this is a 9 legendary, unfortunately it is a troll. And you can see he managed to make a heart and lung shot there with the 22-250. And this guy did score 484.39 when diamond is 492. Now, these guys seem to troll quite a lot, based on my personal experience and what I have seen. So I was kind of disappointed that this guy was a troll, being my first 9 legendary, but you know, it was literally the first kangaroo I shot, was this 9 legendary. It was basically the first one I saw that I was going to have an opportunity at, and yeah, so it was sad that it was a troll, but this is early access, so anything that I get during this early access I'm not actually able to keep anyway. But these guys do seem to be quite big trolls. They seem to like to be level 9 and not actually make diamond. So that's something worth bearing in mind and something that we're going to see in the next couple of clips. But once again, just taking a look at the actual model itself, it is beautiful. And you can see there what I mean about the vitals. Once they are actually sat up like this, you have a very good, clean shot at those vitals. So I think it is worth making them go alert and then just actually getting a chest shot there, basically straight into the chest, and you should hit heart and or lungs. And that will be more than enough to bring these guys down. Now, not very long after actually shooting that first 9 legendary, I ended up coming across a second one, and we are going to take this guy down once again with the 22-250. But you may have seen there, he did actually go to drop back down, and I was worried that I'd actually messed him up. But I could see that his health was dropping, and he's obviously quite wounded, as you can see by the animation. And we can just see through the brush that animation of him actually tipping over, which was actually the first time I got to see it, and I was like, hold on, did I see that right? Because it was a little bit obscured through the brush, so I was really keen to get that to happen again, and I'm glad that I managed to get some clearer footage of it. But again, the models, the eyes, the whiskers, everything looks so realistic and so well done. But once again, we have another level 9 troll. This one is 482.83, again missing diamond by quite a bit. Like I said, these guys seem to like to be level 9 and not make diamond. And you can see it's even got quite a high weight based off of the max weight estimate that you would have seen when I spotted him. This guy is 64.02 kgs, which when max weight is 66, that's not a whole lot of difference, and this guy still didn't make diamond. So I don't know if there's maybe something a little bit wrong with the scoring, or if these guys basically need to be nearly max weight to actually make diamond. You know, if they basically need to be like 65 point something kgs or up to 66 kgs to make diamond, because I'm surprised that a 64 kg one didn't make diamond considering 66 is the max. But once again, we have a third 9 legendary kangaroo, and this time I was like, okay, this is probably going to be another troll at this point. Like I said, they seem to like to troll a lot, but he had a fairly good estimate that definitely gave him a chance at making diamond. He actually goes all the way to alarmed, and I just take a second to line up my shot, and I managed to just see him go down there, so I knew I must have hit the heart. Hitting a heart shot on these guys is fairly easy, just aim for the centre of the chest and you will probably hit it. And once again, we have another troll. Almost the same size as the last one at 482.43, and once again a pretty high weight at 63.76 kgs. So I'm predicting that they've got to be like 65 point something kg to actually make diamond. They've got to have a really high weight to get there. And the trophy type is actually the length, it's not a weight based score. But, you know, the higher the weight, it's probably going to be a bigger animal. So I'm expecting they're going to have to be a pretty high weight to actually get into diamond, which is really surprising. And yeah, I'm really interested whether it is a little bit of an issue with the scoring or whether these guys are just incredible trolls. But unfortunately, 3 9 legendary kangaroos down in my early access, and unfortunately not 1 diamond. But seeing as this is early access and I wouldn't be able to keep anything anyway, I just hope that hopefully I'll be able to find one in the live game. But now moving on to take a look at the Stubble Quail. Now, this was a bit of an unfortunate bug that I've noticed a few times on the new map where animals have been getting stuck. I've only noticed it with a couple of different animals in a couple of different occasions, but this time I did actually find a couple of the Stubble Quail that had gotten stuck. Now, while this is unfortunate, it did provide a good opportunity to take a look at one up close. And these little guys are really beautiful. And this is going to be a little bit brutal, but I did want to take a look at one on the harvest screen. So yeah, like I said, a little bit brutal there, but we have a beautiful female grey-brown stubble quail. Now these guys do need to be shot in the air. You can see we have the grounded score here because she was shot on the ground. But diamond is 238. That is the score you are looking at for a diamond stubble quail. And these guys I think are going to present a huge challenge, similar to the bob whites, but these guys are even smaller. And honestly, I found these a real challenge to hunt, much harder than I have found bob white quail to hunt. So I think these guys are going to be a particularly hard diamond to actually get. And I think that that's cool. I think it is cool to have diamonds that are hard to get, and this one I think is going to be one of those prized gems that if you do find a level 3 on this map, it's going to be really exciting. But just a stunning model. These little guys are absolutely beautiful. So much detail in the face and the feathers. They look absolutely fantastic, and I would definitely love a diamond one to go in the trophy lodge. Really well done on the models. And of course this is a female, and we will actually take a look at a male as well, and a couple of the different plumage types. But I think they've done a really good job with these. Absolutely stunning. Now, there was another couple of stuck ones actually in this same area, but I figured it would probably be best to try and actually get some out of the air, rather than continue to look at all of these little ones that were stuck on the ground. Now, in terms of home range, I have found them in a lot of different places across the map. Now, please do bear in mind that this is a rough sort of guide as to where I have seen them. They may go outside of these areas as well, but this is just to give you a rough idea of where I found them during the early access. Now, I couldn't do a video on the Stubble Quail without mentioning what we got to see in the last EW stream. We got to see an albino Stubble Quail. So we know that these guys are going to have an incredibly rare little thing to find. Exactly the same with the bob white quail having their albino. These guys also have an albino variant, and I can only imagine how rare these are going to be with how challenging these guys are to hunt. And I honestly, it's going to be one of my dream trophies, for sure, but whether I will ever get to see one, I will never know. It's going to be one of those things that if you find it, it's going to be an extremely rare thing to find, I think. And you can see just how small these little guys are out here in this field, and they are so hard to spot. Unless you have some kind of elevation like I do here, they just hide in the grass. You cannot see them. They are really, really tricky to spot. And basically, I've been going off of warning calls, mating calls, and actually following tracks to be able to find these guys. It's not a case of you can spot any in the distance, really. You have to be really sneaky and try and get close to them to be able to spot them. And once they actually take off into the air, you're going to see how small of a target these guys are to hit. Now, I am not the best shot with a shotgun. I am perfectly happy to admit that. And I actually struggle to hit these guys. I am okay at hitting things like pheasants and stuff in the air, but these guys are so incredibly small that I do find it quite the challenge to actually be able to hit them and bring them down. And I can only imagine if I was targeting a specific bird, like a level 3 or a rare in a flock, how hard it would be to actually pick out that individual bird in the air and actually be able to take it down. So like I said, these guys are going to present a challenge, and I think that that's something that a lot of people will actually like, is a more challenging species to go after, especially a small game species. Now, once again, we have a female here. This is a grey-brown female. Again, just a little level 1, but you can see, again, very, very beautiful. And we did actually manage to take a second one down here, so we will go and find that. They are just so incredibly small. Like, you can see them in the air. Tiny, tiny little things. They're much smaller than the bob whites. Really, really little. And we have this second one down here, which is also a female. This one is a grey plumage type, which I actually really like the grey plumage type. I think it looks really, really beautiful. Again, the feather detail and everything looks really stunning and very well detailed. But the sort of slate grey coloration on the wings of the grey plumage type for this female, I think looks really, really nice. Really stunning little bird. And their little feet. Even their little feet are so well detailed. I think they are fantastic little birds. Now, I did actually find some in a more open area out here on the Dry Bone Plateau, and this made it a little bit easier to actually find some. Once again, what I did was end up following some tracks, and once I got a warning call, pulled out the shotgun and basically ran towards where I got the warning call. Now, once again, if you look, you wouldn't really see any quails, but then all of a sudden, all of these tiny little birds take off from the ground, and I once again managed to get just a couple of them down, but you can see, once they start getting further away, they are pretty hard to actually hit. Managed to get a third one there, but couldn't quite get that fourth one. But once again, we do have a couple of them down to take a look at. And these guys are just so beautiful, as I have said previously. But I do think that they are really fantastic. And I feel like they are going to be a little bit of an underrated species. Because, you know, they're not the kangaroos or the banteng or the saltwater crocodiles. They're not a big, sort of really impressive species to see. But I think they are a little hidden gem. And I think that they add something to this map that is really nice to actually see. It's nice to have a small game species to actually chase after, and these guys fit into this environment really, really well. They feel so incredibly natural to just come across little flocks of them, and I absolutely love it. And they're definitely going to be something, like I said, that present a challenge to actually get a trophy of, and I think that that's going to be something pretty cool and something that keeps people coming back to this map to try and get a diamond or a rare of one of these little guys. And to me, that's a really cool thing to actually see. Something that presents a challenge like that isn't going to be an exceptionally easy diamond to hunt or find, I think is always a really cool thing. But finally, we actually get to take a look at a male, and you can see quite a difference from the females. They have sort of an orange coloured throat and then a black patch on their chest. This is a brown plumage type male, and I think they are actually very, very pretty with the differences that they have to the females. Really gorgeous little bird. And I do think it is the males that make diamond, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But they are just really, really beautiful. I mean, like I said, that really sort of dark black patch on their chest and the way that the feathers around it sort of contrast to it, I think is really, really beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And this is only a level 2 male. He is just a silver at 188.78. But still a really cool bird to actually take a look at. And then we have another male here, and once again you can see sort of the orange around the face and on the throat again, and this one is actually a grey-brown male. So slightly different to the previous one that we just took a look at, equally as beautiful and slightly bigger, once again just a level 2 silver, and he is a 190.68. So I'm guessing that we're going to be looking for level 3 males to actually make diamond. Maybe females can make it too. I haven't seen a diamond for either, so I'm kind of guessing that males are the ones that probably make it, similar to the bobwhite quail. But these guys, like I said, are just really gorgeous. Like the black sort of stripes going down from that black patch on the chest as well is really, really stunning. And I think the devs have done a fantastic job in detailing such a small little creature. These guys are absolutely tiny. They are really, really small. In fact, these might be the smallest thing in game now. I think they are. So to see such detail on such a small creature, I'm really excited to see what else they can do in future for small game, because there's a lot of variety in small game and it adds more variety to the lodges, so I'm always keen to see more small game added to these maps, and that's really exciting to me. Now you can see here we have a little group that are actually defensive, so I did actually spook these guys, and this is something they will do similar to some of the other bird species, where sometimes once you spook them they will actually go defensive. And when they're defensive, you can sort of just run up to them and then wait for them to actually flee. And you'll see that's exactly what I did here. And once they took off into the air, that's when I started shooting. Now, I knew I got the first one, and I took a few shots at the other ones that took off, but I was pretty sure that I only just got the one out of this flock. Like I said, my shooting with these little guys isn't the best, but I am still trying to get used to them. And we still have another male warning calling over there. This one was just, once again, a little level 1 female, just a bronze, but again we have the grey-brown plumage type here. It's good to see that there is some different variety in the common plumage types as well. Now, to finish off this video, we have what I believe to be a max weight estimate quail. Now, I believe that max weight estimate for the stubble quail is 0.12 kg to 0.13 kg. I only found one of those tracks and it was from a male, and I believe that to be this level 2. So at this point I tried to spot him and I was going to try and bring him down, and thankfully I did actually manage to hit him and bring him down. I took a few shots at the others and completely missed all of them, but I did manage to get the level 2 that I was pretty sure I had been tracking. And the track confirmed this was the bird that I had actually been tracking. You can see a 1.39 kilometer track, and he is 0.12 kg. So I believe that 0.13 is actually the max, which is so tiny. That's adorable. But you can see he's a pretty good size gold at 228.83. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if these guys can make diamond at level 2 when they are that max weight estimate, but this is the biggest quail that I actually managed to find. And like I said, the only max weight track I found was from a male, so I'm kind of thinking that it is going to be the males that we're looking for to make diamond. But regardless, if you see a track when you finally get out onto this map that is 0.12 to 0.13, I would definitely follow that track, because I do believe it could be a potential diamond. Like I said, this guy got pretty close, being 228.83 when diamond is 238, so it needs to be about 10 points bigger. But, you know, once they start getting a little bit above the weight that this guy is, I would expect, you know, we're going to start looking at diamonds. And like I said, I would expect normally looking at level 3s for diamonds for these guys, and possibly sometimes big level 2s. But yeah, really cool bird. And like I said, 0.12 to 0.13 on the track. I believe those are the tracks that we're going to be looking for diamonds for these guys. That was the biggest track I found, and I did only find the one, so that to me screams that that was a max weight estimate. But that is going to be it for this video. I really hope you have enjoyed it and that there has been some useful information in this one. And thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.